Hi everyone, and thanks for tuning in for this week's Google Developers Live for Google Drive. Today we are joined by Mike Borosden from Docusign, and we're going to talk about their app, get a quick demo, talk about some of the integration points. There's been some really cool stuff with Google Drive and AppScript, so a lot of stuff to show. We don't have any product announcements this week, but we are going to spend a lot of time learning the ins and outs of Docusign, their APIs, and talk about all the cool stuff you can do. So Mike, why don't you tell people a little bit about Docusign, what you do, and then give a quick demo.
Sure. Thank you. So Docusign is an electronic signature service. It basically allows people to sign documents and contracts without having to print them out or use fax machines. Docusign's been around actually for quite some time. It's closing in on 10 years.
And how long have you been with Docusign?
Actually, a long time as well. It's going to be 7 years next month, so like it's an eternity in tech world. But it's been great. The company has been doubling staff and revenue like every 12 to 18 months. So always new challenges and always exciting, and it's been fantastic to see the market adoption.
Yeah, and we've I think been working together for quite a while. Actually, I think the first integrations you've had with Google Apps go back probably 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And they keep getting better and better. So yeah, why don't you give people a quick look at some of the things that you've been doing.
Yeah, sure. So oftentimes, actually, even though we have like 40 million users, I still see a lot of people that have never seen electronic signature. So when I have a chance to present our products, I always start with signing. A lot of people now, when I talk to them, say like, oh yeah, sure, I have used Docusign with my real estate transaction or something along those lines. But if you've never signed a Docusign document, I'm going to show you this on the screen. You might get an email invitation saying like, hey, there's some documents for you to review and sign, and there's a yellow button, and you click it, and basically tells you like, Mr. So-and-so, Ms. So-and-so requested a signature. You click that, and you see here is a rendering of a document. And if you've never signed anything with Docusign, what you go through first is adopting your electronic signature, and you can just select a predefined one, or potentially you can draw one, but I'm not so good at drawing it. So
probably a lot easier on a tablet or a phone or something.
Yeah. There a lot of people really like it. So once you actually adopt your signature, from that point on, what you can do is you can apply it on a document. So here you see I only had one place to sign, so I signed that, and then I confirmed that was actually my final step there, and I'm done. So on a very basic level, the people that receive Docusign documents see that flow, and as you can see, in 30 seconds or less, they're able to sign a document and return it back to the sender. But when it comes to the Google integrations, which we've been working and iterating on and trying to improve all the time and continuously try to improve, and just this morning you gave me some more pointers.
Yep.
I think the most popular integration we have is with Google Drive. So this is where, if you have a document in Drive that you're looking to send out to somebody for signature, you can very quickly open it with Docusign, and when you do that, Docusign integration will go in and grab the document, and then you can put the sticky tabs in the places where you want the signers to sign or initial, and we support all of the form fields and regular expressions and all of those conditional validation stuff, and then you go and basically send it out and then request a signature. So once they sign it, it comes right back to Drive where it came from.
Right. So if you have a library of prepared contracts or templates for different topics, then you just quickly generate a new version to sign. And do you actually save the templates as well, where the sticky tabs are?
Yeah, yeah. There's a way. There's a way for you to save the templates or create new ones. So for people, they can save their workflow themselves. And oftentimes, if it's a company and if they have an administrator, that administrator can create templates that just minimize the errors and just streamline the workflow for people. So all of that stuff is very possible. Operations are important.
So at Google I/O, you showed off what I thought was actually a really cool demonstration of embedding the document signature functionality right in Google Docs.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that and maybe show what that's looking like? I know it's not quite ready for broad use yet, but I think it's a good good indicator of kind of what the potentials are going forward.
Yeah, that's great. So first of all, we love our Google partnership. First of all, it's been great in many different ways. So anytime there's something on the horizon from Google, another integration point or another API, we always look for ways to integrate it into our product. So Google Docs is one of the most requested features from our users. Actually, Google Drive is our #1 document source. So when people select cloud-based document sources, Google Drive is the top one. So Google Docs, people oftentimes edit a document. They want to, maybe add something here, or they want to edit or delete a clause or whatnot. And again, who likes to go through, many steps to just do a simple thing? People prefer that everything is integrated. And here you can see there's a Docusign menu. And when you click that menu, we got a side panel opened up. So this is all written in AppScript, and the panel on the UI is popped up. This is all integrated with Google Docs. It obviously has all of the context. This is the document you're working on. Who you are, how to pair you up with the right Docusign account. And in this express mode right here, what you can do is you can say, I'm going to send this to somebody, for example, Mike. Right? You fill this out and then you send it out. So it's all about just making it super easy for people.
So you quickly update your the contract that you want to send and send it out for signature, and shorten that process a lot.
Yeah.
You also have some mobile apps. The mobile app is really nice. I think earlier we were looking at this on a Nexus 7, and it was a beautiful app and a really nice experience. And you also have some other integrations with Gmail as well, right? In terms of being able to sign attachments and so on. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So Google Apps is another popular integration of ours. So so folks that use Google enterprise applications like Docs and Calendar and Gmail can go to the marketplace and install Docusign. Don't know about Docusign yet, but I can help them. Right? They send this and they said, "Hey, can you sign this doc, please?" Well, again, there's an easy button here. I can go in, and what happens in the background is actually we get the context out of the email. And we try to be smart all the time. We'll try and say like, okay, you've got your email addresses there already. You've got your documents there already. So let's do the best we can to bring all of that information together. And it's probably the people that you want to sign documents with. So we bring it into Docusign, and then you can lay out the workflow here and either sign yourself or request a signature from somebody.
Yeah, very cool. And actually we were talking earlier, and this is maybe one of the areas where actually could you go back a screen, because there are a couple things on here that we were talking about earlier that I think would be kind of useful for developers to take a look at. So you also have the ability to obviously pick from online cloud storage.
Sure.
Choose an online document.
So let's go
with files.
Yeah, let's try that again. I think now that I've requested it once, I probably don't need to go through that again. But there was that
and
screen.
Yeah, and so one of the things that we covered here a few weeks ago on our GDLs was just we've actually covered this topic a few times. Just kind of the difficulty of implementing file pickers, particularly for a large corpus. If you're hitting a very large enterprise with hundreds of thousands of millions of documents, it can actually get very very difficult and expensive to build these types of UIs. And also just recently did some research to find that users actually don't like when applications access their full drive, and it's a pretty significant drop off. It's about 10% additional drop off in acceptance. So there's a whole bunch of different options in terms of file pickers, and I know Dropbox as well has file picker widgets.
Yep.
There's some third parties in terms of filepicker.io, which we had on as a guest. So for developers out there, if you are in a situation where you do have to implement multiple cloud providers, there are options rather than having to build each one of them yourself. And I was some of this you've been working on for a while, and some of these options weren't always available.
Right.
So it's certainly understandable, but it's something that you can probably simplify a lot and just make this a much
it's a nice
faster
way of saying it's time for a refresh. I get it. Yeah. Okay. No, you're right.
It's just making it simpler for users, and then you can take advantage of our pickers really fast, and you don't have to sit there and fetch pages and pages of documents and so on.
Where we do use your picker is in our mobile app, and there we see the difference is tremendous. So when you use our Docusign Ink product on an Android tablet or your Google phone, when you use the native picker from Drive, that is noticeable difference. You don't even need to don't need to time it because it's so obvious. So I don't know. I assume you guys do some caching of stuff.
So that in that case, you're calling into the native Drive app, which is if it's installed, and that has all the metadata cache, and can share that information a lot faster.
Yeah, it's super fast.
Yeah, and the mobile app is beautiful. So great job on that.
Thanks.
It's a great app. I've surpringly only recently have started using electronic signatures for all the things I need to do, and it's a hard habit to get out of printing and signing and scanning, but it makes a huge difference.
Thank you.
One of the things I also wanted to talk about is you actually have a set of APIs as well.
We do, yeah.
And since we have a little bit of a similar audience in terms of people that work with documents.
Sure.
We tend to especially people with Google Apps, a lot of enterprise and small business cases. Anything about your API, what you have to offer that you think would be interesting?
Absolutely. So we actually put a lot of effort into our API. I think platform is sort of like an abused term nowadays, but I would say that when it comes to DocuSign, I really truly believe that we are a platform because about 50% of all our transactions come through API.
Oh, wow.
So 50% of our business and our users don't use our web interface directly. They use us from applications like Drive and third-party integrations. So we put a lot of emphasis on making it easy for developers to get going with electronic signatures. So if you're taking notes, DocuSign.com/devcenter or developer-center, either one, is a special part of our website that's dedicated to developers, and you can get a free development account and get a sandbox and start kicking the tires because we know that developers they want to see stuff work immediately. So the faster you can get down to a working script or a working program, the more successful you're going to be. And we've got code samples, in 5 different languages. And an interactive actually an interactive way to exercise our APIs, and it generates JSON for you. And yeah, it's been great. First of all, we love working with developers because the type of genius that you come across, sometimes you're like, wow, you did that. That is amazing. And just working with smart people is always a pleasure.
And you occasionally host meetups and everything at your offices in San Francisco. I don't know if you do. You have other offices as well, right? I think you're up in Washington and
Seattle, Washington. We have a big office. We have a big office here, right downtown San Francisco, and we generally we try to be engaged in the developer community, and we also try to sort of give back to the community by hosting meetups at least a couple of times a month, and just providing people with resources and doing hack nights and whatnot.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, it's really fun actually. It's really fun for us as well.
The and just one last question. I know you mentioned earlier Drive was your primary source, or at least largest source of cloud storage documents.
Yeah.
We were chatting a little bit earlier about the Chrome Web Store and some of the leads that you're generating from that. I imagine for a company that's largely come from the enterprise space and more traditional sales cycle, that's a nice addition to bring in some of these online sales and different types of leads than what you would normally get through your Salesforce.
Sure. We so both Drive and Google Apps are fantastic in terms of a channel for us, and this is all public information. You can go to Chrome Web Store and you can see that we have close to 80,000 people that have signed up for Docusign through that channel, and this is all, like with a lot of things that are associated with Google, once you figure out how to properly use the tools, you're kind of riding the Google wave, and it's fantastic. So Google Apps is another great channel where that's more geared towards the enterprises and corporate businesses, and we get a lot of leads from that, and that's been great as well. Yeah. So, and of course, being featured on the Android store, the Google Play store, that helped a bunch as well. So thank you. Like I said, we just love our partnership here, and to many more years.
Oh yeah, very cool. I know you need to get back up into the city for some meetings up there. So, but yeah, this has been great. Thanks for the demos and the insights. Next week we will be here with Florisoft. So Daniel Flory, the founder of that company, will be joining us remotely. And he's going to talk about some of the new apps that they've been building, Editly, as well as UltraDocs and some other cool stuff. So we'll be back next week. Again, Mike, thanks for coming and taking some time out of your schedule.
Yeah.
And we'll see everyone next week.